Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just going to be doing a chill, trying new makeup. I haven't done this in a couple weeks and I've been missing it. I have some new products I want to try, so I am going to be giving the new Hourglass concealer a go. I know I'm a little bit late. I did receive this in PR, had a lot of requests, so I'm excited to try this. I have not even tried it at all. I also have the Farsali liquid powder oil balancing serum. Got this in PR, excited to try this. This Glossier Future Dew Oil Serum Hybrid. I did buy this and I'm gonna use this to kind of like moisturize my face. I also have a Lawless lipstick, one of the new cream lipsticks I spoke about in my Will I Buy It. I bought this. I have a sample of the Fenty Beauty Full Frontal Mascara. I was gonna get the full size, but then they had the sample as a point perk, so I was like, or I don't think it was a point perk, it was like a weekly special, so I put the code in because I thought, I already have enough mascaras, but I wanted to try it for you guys. Also, I really wanted to try this out. I bought this and I never used it yet. This is the Huda Beauty Matte and Metal. I want to use the matte side to start my look off. I have the Dominique Cosmetics Latte 2. This is a really neutral, pretty palette. I have some lashes from The Balm and these look really, really pretty. Also have the Dominique Cosmetics new lip glosses. They smell like coffee. I have this Urban Decay Naked Trio. I know this isn't brand new, but I don't have like a new bronzer that I can think of, so I thought I would test this one out because I'm still kind of playing with it. And then for highlight and for blush, I have this new NARS palette that looks gorgeous. And then I also wanted to keep demoing the Tati Beauty Blendiful. I actually have washed mine 3 times. I've used it maybe, I think 3 times now, maybe 4. I think I flipped it over one day. And I have some thoughts. I want to kind of go over it with you guys and just keep demoing it on camera, give you close-ups, all of that. I'm not doing a brand new foundation today because everything else is so new that I thought, let me stick with a foundation that I know looks good, so I can see kind of how everything plays with it. Plus I don't really have a new foundation at the moment that I'm really like excited to try. So I hope you guys are excited for this video. If you're new here, subscribe. I do a ton of trying new makeup videos, hauls, first impressions, all of that, and let's go ahead and begin. So I'm gonna go ahead and start out with this Glossier Future Dew Oil Serum Hybrid. I bought this from the website along with another boy brow, and then I bought one of the brow flick pens. This just looked interesting to me. It's very runny, so it's an oil, what is it called? Oil Serum Hybrid. So it has like a light herbal kind of scent. Ooh, that's really, really moisturizing. I'm gonna try to keep this not on my chin area. Nala's like rooting around, so if you hear that. But I do get dry mostly on my forehead and like the perimeter right here. Wow, that gives a glow. I do feel like my skin looks a little bit red, but it just could be from the pressure. So we will see. It doesn't feel irritating or anything. This might be like a dry skin person's dream just because it looks intensely hydrating. I hope it plays well under makeup, but I'm gonna let that sit in for just a couple minutes. Wow, it's like really, really dewy. I mean, it gave me a dewy look right off the bat. So I'll keep playing around with it. I have to say the packaging is gorgeous. I like some Glossier products. Some of them are a little bit too natural for me. You know, it's like those natural model-esque kind of products, but we'll see. This feels intensely hydrating. It has a little bit of a tack to it, so hopefully my foundation goes nicely over it. Okay, so for the T-zone, I want to go in with this Farsali Liquid Powder Oil Balancing Serum with French Pink Clay. So liquid powder is interesting. I like a lot of Farsali products. I'm gonna go ahead and see what the formula is like. So the formula is like a clear gel. It's way thinner than I would have thought. I'm gonna go ahead and just apply it to the center of my face. That is strange. It's like almost like a water gel. Like it doesn't really feel like anything. I thought it would feel like a powder. It doesn't, so that's interesting. I'll have to update in a pinned comment, but it's interesting, just the texture of this. It's not what I would have thought. Now that I feel it and it's kind of settled a little bit, I don't know. It does feel dried down, but it doesn't feel like powdery. But when you look at my hands, I wonder if you guys can see this. Can you see that like clay powder like right here? Huh. I can't really see that on my face though. So it does feel like silky here. So we'll see how it plays with foundation. So I want to go in with this Pretty Vulgar Water Lava Foundation. I've really been enjoying it. This is in the shade 25 Skinny Dip. A lot of you have been asking me what I've been wearing. My last Will I Buy It, I was wearing this. I've been enjoying it. There's been a few that I've really been enjoying. I want to get your feedback if you guys would like a top 5, bottom 5 series, like maybe top 5 best foundations and 5 worst, or kind of something like that. I just want to change up my content and have different video ideas, but I feel a little bit stuck because I don't know what you guys like. I know you love hauls and I know you love trying new makeup, so I'm trying to add in like Will I Buy It or Purchase or Pass, and just, you know, hyped reviews like the Tati Blendiful, stuff like that. So just let me know down below. The packaging on this is glass. It's really pretty. I wouldn't travel with it probably, but what I'm going to do is apply it to the skin and then use my Blendiful. So I want to show you, I've washed this 3 times. So here is a close-up. You can see there's kind of some residue on there. It is a little bit more difficult to wash. I haven't put it in the washing machine. I would rather just hand wash it for a couple minutes and be done with it. And it does dry quickly. I just wonder over time if it's gonna get matted, because it looks a little bit matted here where that foundation was. I haven't noticed any differences in terms of using it, like if it doesn't work. And I also don't have any ripping at all when I'm looking at the seams. I mean, not even close. So I don't know. I know people have been having issues, but my experience has been good. I really like this with foundation. I find that it just looks smooth. I do like it with concealer as well. Today I'm going to use the Hourglass brush though. Maybe I'll use like half and half, but so I am enjoying it so far. Do I think that it's like groundbreaking? I mean, no. I mean, you don't need it, I guess. Well, I guess here's the thing. You don't need any makeup product, right? You just get whatever works for you. And I think, you know, a lot of people are like, well, how does it compare to a puff from Amazon or whatever? Like, I don't know. You know, you could just try any type of powder puff if you'd like. But for me, I enjoy it and I will continue to use it. So that's my first impression. If there is an issue with like them breaking, that is a problem, and I've heard that customer service does replace them, but hopefully like if those break, that would be an issue. So I haven't had that experience, but I wanted to update you, and I'm gonna keep using it. I'm just gonna kind of apply my foundation, and for me, I just kind of swipe and then I just kind of stipple, whatever works. I think a lot of people were getting really caught up with you know, well, she said to do this, and she said, it's like, just do whatever feels right to you. There's no, you know, right or wrong. Whatever works for you is what you should do. So I kind of like to do one layer, and then I just kind of add a little bit more where I feel like I need a little bit more help. So this is what my base looks like. I'm looking a little dead without brows. I need to go back and get microblading touched up. It's just like finding the time, because once you do it, you have like 10 days of healing. So now I'm gonna go into the Hourglass concealer. This is a new Vanish concealer. I had a lot of requests for this. And they also did send over the brush. You don't have to use that, obviously. I have the shade Fawn. I'm hoping it's gonna be a nice kind of yellow. Yeah, it looks like a good shade for me. I'm gonna go ahead and apply it. Feels thicker than I had anticipated. It's actually quite thick. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the brush. Sometimes I use a brush, sometimes I find it a little bit more difficult to blend out. It feels pretty thick. I kind of wasn't expecting that. I'm gonna go in with the Blendiful. Kind of make this more seamless. I actually prefer the Blendiful. So this is what it looks like before I set it. I don't know, it's thick, but I also feel like I can still see the blue, but I wouldn't want to add any more because it is so thick. Maybe it's just not, maybe I applied too much. I feel like it's a little bit cakey. Like it feels heavy under my eyes. It could be because I put that foundation on and that, but I don't typically get that feeling. I'm gonna go ahead and set it. I'm gonna use my Huda Beauty Pound Cake. I have been liking this. The fragrance is high, but it's very smoothing. So I do also like this to set the entire face. I just kind of grab some powder on it and then just go across the face. It's just pretty quick. Yeah, my eyelids feel super, like, heavy. Why did I just do that? Like, the creasing already, they feel sticky. I mean, I know all concealer feels like that, or most of it does. This feels, I don't know if I like that. I'm kind of surprised because, I don't know. I mean, it's just my first impression. Could be just not playing well with this foundation. I'm not sure, but it feels pretty heavy and sticky to me. So I went ahead and did my brows off camera, and I want to go into this Huda Beauty Metal Matte Shadows. So I saw Hindash use this, and he uses it in like every tutorial as a base. So I just want to use the matte side as a base. This is in Double Pump Latte, and if I remember correctly, I think he puts it on the back of his hand. So I just want to show you a swatch of it. It's just a beautiful like tan nude. I'm going to put it on the back of my hand just because I'm new to it, and take a blending brush and just grab some on the brush and pray because I hope that this works out for me. So I'm going to just use this as a eyeshadow, like, I don't want to say base, a base for my look. So when I watch him, he puts it in the crease like I'm doing right now, and I'm working quickly because I don't know how fast the dry down is. But he just kind of like uses it in the crease, and it's just kind of like the first color that he lays out. He almost uses it as a transition shade. It is kind of interesting. I'm always just like wary of creams. The shade on this though is really nice. So I'm just gonna kind of apply it, make sure that I drag it out, and I'm using really light pressure. So it actually worked pretty well. I'm gonna take a little bit, because he does this sometimes as well, just on the lower lash line. I wonder if this will help like other shadows like stick on top too. So next I want to go into this Dominique Cosmetics palette. I think I want to go into the shade right up here. It's like a warm brown. Taking a clean brush, I'm going to use this on the outer edge to really deepen this up. I feel like Dominique Cosmetics, something about their palettes are really attractive to me or appealing to me. As I said, I have fatigue with a lot of eyeshadows at the moment, but something about the aesthetic of Dominique Cosmetics I really enjoy. Okay, so I'm noticing that it's grabbing to that shadow. He always puts shadows over top. I've never done it before. But do you see how like the crease is not wanting to grab that? So I'm putting more in the crease where it like didn't want to grab that pigment. I'm also going to take that shade on the lower lash line, kind of outer corner. Okay, so now I'm going to go into this yellow shade, and I'm just going to use this really lightly to blend the edges up here. So I'm actually going to go in with my finger to this metallic shade. I'm going to use this right in the center. So there's a little bit of fallout there, which is fine. And then for the inner corner, I'm going to use this shade. So I'm just going to kind of apply it right in here. This one definitely, I almost feel like I should wet. So this one's more glittery. So definitely has some fallout. So I'm going to go into Coffee Beans here, and I'm going to apply this to the lower lash line really tight in here. I do feel like that Huda Beauty shadow helped intensify the dark shades. Like it almost gave it a base, but I did have a little bit of grabbing, so I'll just have to kind of play around with that. And then to tie in the yellow, I am going to grab it again, and I want to use this kind of just under here so it all ties in. Pretty lightly, just for a little hint. So now I want to try out the Fenty Beauty mascara before we go in with lashes. So this is the sample. I don't know, I've heard mixed reviews about this. I want to give you a close-up of the wand. So it's supposed to have kind of like the chubby side of the wand, and then it goes flat. So you can use this side or you can use this side. I typically have the best results with kind of thinner wands that really lengthen. So I'm gonna start off with the fluffy side and then the flat side. It's kind of confusing, but so I'm using the fluffy side right now. Feels like not much product is coming off on my lash. Okay, so there's the fluffy side, and then I'm gonna switch to the flat side too. Okay, so that's what it looks like. I'm not in love. Okay, so I'm not in love. I really like the Givenchy Disturbia. I just got a new one from Iconic London. Let's go ahead and use the Iconic London one on this other side. It's got a really thin wand, kind of like the Disturbia one. I also like actually the Too Faced Damn Girl. That one is really different, like a thicker wand, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I feel like not much product was coming off on this side. So this is the Iconic side. This is the Fenty. I'm glad that I didn't buy the full size because I don't need any new mascaras, and honestly, I'm not impressed. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit of the Iconic just to make them somewhat even before I go in. So I'm gonna go ahead with these lashes. So I'm gonna go in with these Big Fan lashes in Starstruck from The Balm. So this is a close-up of the lashes. They look nice, kind of mid-range, not super intense like a Lily lash, but also not really small like an Ardell, kind of right in the middle. So I went ahead and applied the lashes. They're nice. They're kind of right in the middle where they're not, again, super intense, but they're also, you know, not really, really natural. They're kind of in the middle. So I'm just using mascara to blend in my lashes and then putting mascara on my lower lash line. So I may add an inner corner highlight, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go into this Urban Decay Stay Naked Threesome palette just because I wanna use the bronzer in here. I love the blush in here. I feel like I'm really zoomed in. Maybe let's zoom out a little bit. So I'm gonna use my Tati Blendiful for my bronzer. I'm just gonna fold it in half. I really just don't have a new bronzer, so I'm gonna just use this. I'm still kind of testing it out. It's a pretty warm bronzer. It does have a little bit of a sheen to it, which I mentioned in my last video using it. Something's looking a little, ooh, I think maybe a little too much. So when I have too much, I'm just gonna take my powder brush, just kind of blend over. I'm just gonna use this to bronze up the skin. This is pretty warm. I don't know if I remember it being so warm. So for blush and highlighter, I want to go into this new NARS palette. Their packaging is beautiful. This is the Hot Fix Cheek palette. You do get 4 shades. So a shimmery blush, satin blush, matte blush, and then a highlight. I think I'm going to go in, I'm just going to mix these two in the middle here. Oh, that's pretty. It's like a, just like a neutral pinky blush. A little bit over my nose. It's pretty subtle. I do really like more of like a hot pink, but I know a lot of people like neutral, so I feel like a lot of people would like this. I want to go in with the highlighter here. Let's see what this swatch is like. Swatch is pretty intense. So I'm actually going to buff in because this is pretty intense. This definitely feels creamier than a lot of the NARS kind of face palette highlights. It's one that you can really buff in and like build up. It's pretty intense. I'm actually going to take some on the inner corner here, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with this Pat McGrath contour. So I'm lining and then filling in the outer corners. Now I want to go into my Lawless lipstick. I picked up the shade Fawn, which is supposed to be like a warm honey nude shade. So it definitely has some pink to it. It's definitely a pretty nude. I don't think it's like as warm as I thought, but so for gloss, I think I want to try the Dominique Creamer gloss just right in the center. I love her glosses. They're a little bit sheer. I wish they had more like intensity, but they, oh my God, this smells so good. Her other ones smell amazing too. This is really gonna just give me a little bit of milkiness in the center here. I actually might take a little bit of Java, just a tiny bit on the outer edges. So to finish off, just to give me a little bit of hydration, I'm gonna go in with my Watermelon Glow Recipe Mist. This mist is like so fine that I could like keep my eyes open. That was a little creepy, but it's so fine. You literally have to be like this close to get the effects, but it's really a nice mister. All right, guys, here's my finished makeup look, and I'm gonna go over each product, tell you my thoughts. I feel like we had a pretty successful day. I liked a lot of the products. Starting off with the Glossier Future Dew. This is an oil serum hybrid, and I like the way it feels. I feel like a lot of times my skin is dry. I've tried oils under my foundation before. I've had a couple that have worked, but they can really disrupt your foundation, and this didn't do that. It's definitely a hybrid, and I like the way that it feels, and it looked immediately dewy. I really want to play with this. I love the packaging, and I feel like it's going to be something that I will reach for a lot. The Farsali liquid powder, I'm not sure of just yet. This is interesting because it does have that powdery feel to it. I don't know if mixing both of these was the best idea, but again, I was just trying new stuff. I use this as a moisturizer and then this in my T-zone. I will have to update how I stay like matte wise all day and let you guys know. Again, I'd like to try this a couple times without this, just like a typical moisturizer. So first impression on this is I don't really know. It didn't really feel like it did anything, but it's kind of hard to tell because I didn't use like a super dewy foundation, so I'll have to keep playing with that. Moving on to the Hourglass Concealer, I honestly am shocked that I'm not that into it. I may have applied too much, or maybe this is something that needs a wet sponge. Just felt a little bit cakey, a little bit thick, dry, especially with this, and I don't know that the coverage is blowing me away. I feel like it's a typical coverage, so I'm gonna have to keep using this again and trying it in different ways. I think maybe that I would use this more like 3 little dots, a wet sponge to give it some moisture, so I'll have to keep playing with it. It just felt like it almost set right where I put it, and I couldn't blend it into my foundation, which is not something I typically struggle with. The Blendiful, I told you guys my thoughts on it so far. Again, I'm gonna keep using it, see if it tears, see if I have any issues. I do wash it every single time I use it, so now that I've used both sides, I will wash it, and I do enjoy it, specifically for my foundation. That's like the main thing. Foundation and then baking are the two things I keep kind of reaching for, so I'll keep using this and update. Let me know down below if you have this, if you've had any issues, how customer service was, or if you had an experience like me where everything seemed to be fine. This Huda Beauty Metal Matte is interesting. I like it for a base, but I think there's some finessing that you need to do. So there's kind of pros and cons. The pro is that I feel like I really got that deep outer V look. It's very hard for me to do that, and I think because I do use concealer and then set it with powder, sometimes shadows don't want to stick to the outer V or my lower lash line, and I feel like they dust away. This gave it something to grab onto, but I had to be a little bit careful making sure I filled in the crease and just making sure I blended really nicely. So I will keep playing around with this. This might be something that you use just on the outer V, or something that maybe you use just alone, just to give you kind of like a quick, you know, color in the crease. So I will keep playing with this. Also really impressed with the Latte palette. I think everything blended beautifully. This metallic isn't like the same formula as this. So this one is a little bit more subdued, like a satin. I mean, it is a metallic, but this is like a glittery metallic. So again, you're gonna have more fallout. I do have some glitter fallout, but I'm okay with that. You can just wipe it away. The one thing I will say is I wish one of these would have been omitted. Like I wish this would have been switched out for a light tan shade, just to give you more of a transition, because I think this is good for brightening and brow bone. So I just wish this was a little bit darker, like a mid-tone tan, but other than that, I'm attracted to her brand and her palettes. I've had good luck with them. Going on to the NARS palette, it's beautiful. Standout for me is the highlight. Now I know a lot of people really, really love the neutral blushes. I'm more of a hot pink, hot red, bright orange blush kind of girl. So maybe that's why I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, it's pretty. It's just not my favorite blush colors, but I like the highlight in here. It's definitely creamier, thicker, and more intense than most NARS palette highlights. The Urban Decay, I felt like the bronzer looked a little warm today, but I have to say the blush in here, this is my kind of blush, just a hot pink blush. The Lawless lipstick, a little bit more pinky and a little sheer now that I'm looking at my lips. And it almost feels like I didn't put a lipstick on. And it's interesting, like if I swatch it, it's definitely a creamy pigmented lipstick. I don't know, I'm gonna have to keep using it and playing around. I did order another shade, so we will try that out in the coming videos. And then I do like these glosses. They're a little sheer, but I really like the smell on these. They smell so good. They're very nice. This is very similar to like a KKW Super Nude, just a little bit more sheer. You can see it definitely does have some pigment to it. And again, this would probably be one that I would use more so with a deeper lipstick. So something where, you know, I had like maybe like a deeper chocolate nude on and I wanted to lighten the center, that's when I would reach most for this. And then this one would be kind of the opposite if I wanted to deepen up a nude lip. But I do like these. I'm happy to have them. In terms of the Fenty mascara, not my favorite. Probably won't reach for it again. Happy that I got a sample and I didn't spend the money on the main, the big one, just because I have favorites that I already like. So why would I waste my money? All right, guys, so that's everything for this trying new makeup. Hopefully I showed you some products that you were interested in. Let me know if you've tried these, the Blendiful, the Farsali, the Huda Beauty, the Hourglass Concealer. I wanna know your thoughts, leave them down below. Please subscribe and hit the thumbs up and the bell if you're new here. I would love to have you, and I'll see you guys in my next video.